Guys, it's gorgeous. That's the silver. I completely forgot that last year's Mercedes was black. What is going on, guys? It is JJ here, back with a new video, and today it is finally time. It is time to look at the Ferrari. Oh my goodness! Wow, it's early in the morning. I apologize. We're gonna take a look at the Mercedes. We're gonna take a look at the Mercedes F1 car, the new 2022 car. It's being driven by Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. I don't actually know who George Russell is, so that will be a video also later today. And as well, following the whole Abu Dhabi incident, which has led to Michael Masi, it's led to his departure. Also need to do a video on that, but we're gonna take a look at the new Mercedes car. It's gonna be, I don't know if it can rival the Ferrari. Guys, looked gorgeous. I absolutely loved yesterday's video. If you haven't seen my first reaction of the Ferrari F1 car for 2022, definitely go take a look at it. But obviously with a whole new bunch of regulations, a bunch of new design features, all that types of stuff, Mercedes is gonna have a tough task keeping their top spot, essentially their constructors title, and helping Lewis get his 8th world title for the 2022 season. It's going to be a very interesting season, I think. But obviously, we're going to take a look at this video. It is from The Race YouTube channel. Please go check them out. Subscribe to them if you haven't already. They're insane. They're absolutely insane. Plus, they tell me all the things that I don't know, so then I can talk to you guys about what I do need to know, which is also extremely helpful. But yeah, let's get into the video. As well, guys, you can obviously find the original video, like I said, down in the description below.
You're watching the Aramco
2022 F1 car review series. I got it to a
Past
T.
achievements mean nothing. We start from zero. That was team principal Toto Wolff's declaration at the launch of the new Mercedes F1W.
It's pretty. It's very pretty. Maybe we gotta keep going. I just missed the still of it. I guess they will show. They'll show us.
The biggest set of rule changes in Formula One history. The new Mercedes, back in its silver arrow.
Oh, whoops! I think I just muted it. Guys, it's gorgeous. That's the silver. I completely forgot that last year's Mercedes was black. With the little black / dark gray undertones, the light green strip now that no longer sort of stands out against the all black Mercedes. It is a clean. Look at that back wing. It's like a little W shape back wing. Oh. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this. I like it. Oh, and the red rear with the little roll bar in it. Mercedes killed this. Mercedes killed this design.
Rose livery, after 2 years in black, was revealed prior to being shaken down as
Silver
a stormy
Arrows livery.
Silverstone, with George Russell the first to get behind the wheel during its filming day. Lewis Hamilton then took over on his first appearance since losing the 2021 Drivers' Championship in last year's controversial Abu Dhabi finale. Hamilton put to bed fears he might walk away from F1, with the action announced by the FIA on Thursday evidently satisfying both driver and team.
In fairness, while I don't know a ton about the Michael Masi situation, I did watch the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I feel like it was so... It reminded me of when we took a look on the channel at the Nico Rosberg Lewis Hamilton video, because I really did think, because I mean that's what everyone was saying on social media, that he was going to walk away, sort of the same way Nico Rosberg walked away after he finally beat Lewis Hamilton. He finally got over his bogey. It's like sort of the exact opposite, but the same situation where Lewis Hamilton is finally beat. There was finally someone from a different car, from a different team, who went out and beat him, who went head to head with him all season and found a way to win. And that was probably shaky for Lewis to have to deal with that. So I give props to him, and it says a lot about his character for him to actually sort of nut up and continue with this year's F1 season. F1 is not the same without him. It's not the same without him, and I want him to continue to compete because it's amazing TV. It's by far the best.
So after 2 months of
so
uncertainty,
the race director had to go to get him to stay.
Championship.
And then it had to happen.
The key question is, will the Mercedes W13 be up to it? With Wolff saying that the team is treating its latest creation with its traditional skepticism.
Dude, it's just so good look, and the green in the back wing.
Mercedes takes nothing.
The green is, bro. The color scheme is Like, just from the front. Listen, I'm
always,
over here, left, right, and center. The car is just gorgeous.
As has
I'm
our
a big fan.
illustrator Rosario Giuliana. And the first impression is that it's an elegant interpretation of the regulations. Viewed from the front, the shape of the front wing, which sweeps upwards from the outboard end then back down dramatically, clears a path for the airflow to feed to the all-important openings at the front of the floor. These feed the crucial Venturi tunnels of the ground effect car. It has tightly packaged side pods that shrink wrap the internal components, narrowing quickly to feed the Coke bottle area, with the surface shape sweeping down to augment that effect. According to technical director Mike Elliott, Mercedes has taken another step with the compact packaging of the side pods and engine cover this year.
It's noticeable. It's very noticeable.
A sleek, sharp design that is very obviously aiming to maximise the airflow to the Venturis and feed clean airflow around the side pods and to the rear of the car.
Ooh.
It has certainly met with Gary Anderson's approval. So let's have a look at some of the key areas in detail. With the shape of the front wing flaps leaving a clear flow to the front of the floor, Mercedes does not have the slot gap between the nose and the bottom element we've seen from other teams. This element is mounted directly to the nose.
Ooh, it's nice, pointy. Oh yeah, I got something right. The Ferrari is pointy.
Front suspension. Note that the track rod is in line with the forward leg of the wishbone to minimise airflow blockage, and also has a small change of section and angle halfway along its length to help optimise the airflow. The airflow then hits the front of the floor and side pods. The leading edge is wider than on some cars, for example a Ferrari, meaning the angle of attack of the airflow will not be so critical. This should make underfloor performance more robust and consistent. We can also see the vanes in detail.
I think that's the thing Mercedes really want, though, is it not? It's consistency. Like, they want to have the most consistent performances across the board, because if their drivers are continuing to compete first and second every single race, and the car is consistently, having the same airflow or having the same downforce on every single track, can only mean great things.
The leading edge of the tunnel also steps
up. But I feel like it's also something that could be detrimental.
The internal vanes twist outwards dramatically to turn as much airflow as possible out of the side of the underfloor. This means the raised internal section is the airflow through the Venturi the underfloor and diffuser works with. On the outside of the side pod, there's the typical large turning vane, but the leading edge of the side pod itself is relatively simple thanks to the size of the radiator inlet and not as cleanly blended into the rest of the side pod as it could be as a result. It's possible this could be an area for development.
How much development do these people do during the season? I feel like it's not.
Means the Mercedes also doesn't.
I mean, it probably is a lot. I'm
excited
for the next F1 season, guys. It's gonna be sick.
But the side pod shape is exactly as you would expect it, based on the trend for tight packaging, eschewing the direction taken by some others, including customer team Aston Martin. The components underneath are tightly and neatly wrapped, and it sweeps inwards and downwards to the Coke bottle. Mercedes has also brought back the corrugated forward floor exit that it used early last season. This will be at the tail end of the internal floor splitters and will act as an exit in this area to help create a small front corner diffuser in its own right that pulls some of the initial airflow out of these small corrugations. The airbox intake is a rectangular shape, but there's a triangular rollover bar inside the opening. This creates 3 internal ducts, one of which we'll call the turbocharger.
Ooh,
at the back of the car,
like that.
The Coke bottle area has plenty of space to feed the upper surface of the diffuser and the beam wing. But if you look higher up to the engine cover, it is wider than in recent years thanks to the split plenum arrangement.
Split plenum?
Gone is what Chief Technical Officer James Allison described last year as the rather sexy looking bulge needed to accommodate that split plenum. The rear suspension is the common pull rod design, while the rear wing is more of a W shape rather than being
I did guess that right. It does look like a
W.
W.
The outer ends are at a similar height to the middle, meaning there will be more airflow spillage off the sides and along the end plates. Under the skin,
it's such a pretty car.
Mercedes power unit has undergone more changes than in any year since the 1.6 litre V6 turbo engines were brought in 2014. This is thanks to the imminent engine freeze and the introduction of E10 fuel.
Ooh.
So the Mercedes definitely looks the part, and the team has the track record.
But will it stay on top?
It's maintained its high standards and will continue to be at the sharp end for another
season. Is Mercedes time up?
But it would be a surprise if Mercedes wasn't. You're watching the Aramco
2022 F1 Car Review Series. What's next? honestly, I think we're gonna watch this part, like them explain this rules, and then talk about it.
Unprecedented dominance in Formula One since 2014, winning 15 out of 16 drivers and constructors championships, and coming within a lap of making it a full house last year.
So close last year. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is so good.
Rule changes that introduced the 1.6-litre V6 turbo
Aren't
hybrid
Blackbirds going
engine.
extinct? Why are they on the car?
But given Chief Technical Officer James Allison describes this year's rule changes as the biggest since he first came into F1 with Benetton back in 1991, there's the risk the new regulations could derail Mercedes.
Really?
The team's track record suggests it will be equal to the challenge. After hitting the front in 2014, it stayed there in 2017 when F1 introduced wider, higher downforce cars. It was still on top in 2019 when the front wings were simplified to make them less sensitive to turbulence and mitigate outwash. But last year's set of 4 small but significant rule changes, most importantly the triangular cut in the floor, did hit Mercedes hard. However, it would be unfair to say that this is indicative of a failure to adapt, given it was locked in to the low-rate concept the rules made work less well thanks to the requirements to carry over the majority of the 2020 car.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, there's so much to unwrap here, which... Actually, we're going to let this last bit part play out. We'll let the last bit of the part play out, and then we'll talk about it. Because it's absolutely nutty.
But there are other complications that make this a more complex task.
Ooh.
Firstly, the introduction of the cost cap last year has hit Mercedes more than most.
Really?
This year, the cost cap baseline figure drops to $140 million, and
for
like
the total design of the car,
that has led to restructuring and staff being moved into other areas, including the America's Cup project with the Ineos Britannia team. Secondly, this car has been designed under the restrictions of the aerodynamic testing handicap system. This was introduced in 2021 and allocated wind tunnel runs and CFD items based on a reverse sliding scale.
He's now getting into so much technical mumbo jumbo that I do not know. But okay, let's talk about this. Okay, obviously now that the majority, I think, of the competing cars are done, we've taken a look at McLaren, we've taken a look at Ferrari, now the Mercedes, which is gorgeous, the Red Bull car as well. You guys gotta let me know if you guys want to see like a rankings bit. Maybe there are some cars that haven't been revealed yet. I would think Mercedes will be last. They've even shown the Aston Martin, they've shown the Williams. I don't know. But anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts on those down in the comments below. If you guys want to see a ranking video, my thoughts on obviously there's so much in terms of technical design and engineering that maybe I don't understand. Especially, I feel like the only car that sort of redoes the sort of boundaries was McLaren. But it's going to be like a make or break for them. And I think it's the same for Mercedes. It's a make or break. Will the Red Bull car and the Ferrari car finally catch up and sort of fill the sort of team board that's been missing? Will there be like a nice constructors title battle? Will there be multiple drivers battling for the individual title? I hope so. I really, really do hope so. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the Mercedes. Let me know what other videos you guys want to see. Guys, I'm so excited. 2022 is going to be my first full season watching an F1. We're going to do so much stuff with it. Honestly, I'm going to have an absolute blast watching it. I hope you guys do too. But we have to still... Once we're done with the car reveal series, there are seasons we need to catch back up on. It's like a TV show where I need to catch up on the missing episodes or the missing seasons or the missing details from things that have happened in the past that could, I don't know, factor into things that are happening in the future. Or in my case, just fill in a lot of voids that are missing here. Like I know Lewis Hamilton is looking for that 8th title. I know Mercedes have dominated since 2014. I know Red Bull had their 4-peat with Vettel, and now Verstappen is their new guy. And I know Ferrari are looking hard, now it's their 75th anniversary, to get a title. They want a title of some sort. They want to compete at the top. So it's gonna be an interesting season. But let me know your guys' thoughts on it down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace.